Hi guys, today I am going to be cooking Sadza, which is also known as pap or ugali in other countries, and this is the traditional Zimbabwean dish. It's the staple food of Zimbabwe, and this is the meal that I use because it's a healthier option. So for the process, you first put a little bit of the meal with cold water, and then you mix it so it's not lumpy, and then after that you add some boiling water, as you can see me doing here, and that's just to make the porridge version of the sadza so that it can boil. So you have to make it into a consistency that's a little bit thick. You'll see as I'm going the kind of consistency that you need for your sadza so that it boils perfectly. So you don't want it to be too thin, and you also don't want it to be too thick. So what you can do is, you can see it thickening already, and that's the kind of consistency that you want for your sadza. And this stage, some people will just boil this version and make porridge, but we are making sadza, so we are going to add some more meal. Like, it's not, this one's not maize meal, it's actually sorghum. We'll be adding more to thicken it up a little bit, but this is the consistency that you want from your sadza so that it can boil. And it's really important that it boils at the right consistency so that it boils all the way through and it can cook well, so that you have well cooked sadza. So when it's at this point where it's boiling, you will then close it so that it boils for about 15 minutes. So once it's boiled for 15 minutes, it's now ready to add more sorghum meal so that you can thicken it up. And you can see that's the kind of bubbling that you want to see, and it shows you that it's the right consistency. If it's too thin, it'll be boiling a little bit like more, what can I say, violently, but you want it to but the bubbles to be a little bit smaller. And at this stage, that's when you start adding more sorghum meal to thicken up. And at this stage, this is now when we're making sadza. This is the distinction between porridge and sadza, when you add more meal to it. So what you want to do is, you want to mix it consistently. You don't want to stop mixing, and the point of this is so that it doesn't become lumpy. So whenever you add more meal to a hot liquid, it will lump up very quickly. So you need to make sure that you are mixing it quite fast and you don't stop mixing, and you're mixing at the same time as you are adding your extra meal, as I am doing. And the reason I like this particular pot, it's got a really long handle, so it makes mixing the sadza very easy because you have something to hold on to. And as you can see, this requires quite a lot of elbow grease. You really have to put, a little bit of power into it, a bit of strength into it, so that it mixes well, because at this stage your sadza is now a bit thick, so it's not as easy to mix. So you really need to hold on to that handle and mix. And what the stick that I'm using is an African Zimbabwean stick. It's called mhunga. That's the perfect stick. It's a flat stick, and it really makes mixing in the sadza easier for you as you're mixing it. And you need to do this continuously until you have removed all the lumps. Like, you make sure that all the meal has been incorporated into the mix and there are no lumps. So you keep mixing and mixing and mixing until that stage, and as you can see now, it looks well mixed. There are no lumps, and that's the consistency that I like to have my sadza. So it's really a matter of preference. Some people like it a little bit thinner, some people like it a little bit thicker. So it depends on the consistency you want as to how much meal you mix into it. So now it's ready to close up, and you need to close it again for about 5 minutes. And this is to make sure that the new incorporated meal is really cooked through, and you reduce the heat at this stage because it's now a thicker mixture. You don't want it to burn. So you reduce the heat to the lowest setting, and after 5 minutes, you open it up and that's what you have. That's your sadza ready to go. And at this stage, you would also take your mugoti and just mix it through just one more time to make sure that the heat is evenly distributed into the sadza and it's ready to go, and to make sure that everything is cooked through and you can really see it steaming. That's what you want to see. You want to see the steam really coming out of it. That shows you that your sadza is ready and that it has received enough heat. Now it's time to serve. So this is how I serve my sadza. I always have a bowl with water so that the serving spoon that I'm using doesn't become sticky, because sadza is quite sticky, and I put it on some foil, glad wrap, some cling foil. I just put it on glad wrap and I put it in a saucer, and then I mix it up like this, and this is to make a little round ball. It really looks nice on the plate and it's just easier to dig into, and yeah, so that's how I serve my sadza. I put like a little ball and then I twist it up. I twist the glad wrap and then I turn it over upside down, and then there you have the bits of sadza mixed up and ready to serve. And what you do when you want to serve is just you open it up and you just place it on the plate upside down like that, and there you have your sadza ready to go. And we are having our sadza with some beef and vegetables. This is one of our favorite things to have with our sadza, and here is the final product. It's sadza with beef and vegetables. This is a very common Zimbabwean dish and it was very yummy.